A meeting that took place in the White House between our newly elected mayor here in New York City, Zoran Mamdani, and President Donald Trump.
You guys are like the exact people I was curious about what you were going to say about this.
And he has to be wondering, like, okay, what's Trump going to do to own Zoran? How is he going to assert dominance over him? What sort of embarrassing spectacle will this be? But what we all got was actually sort of seemingly out of nowhere, a giant love fest of Donald Trump kissing Zoran's ass. Basically, I'm just going to read here from the New York Times. It says here, at multiple points during the meeting, Mr. Trump jumped in to defend Mr. Mamdani from pointed questions from reporters. The president patted Mr. Mamdani on the arm when he was asked by a reporter if Mr. Trump was a fascist. Mr. Mamdani smiled awkwardly, and the president advised him to just say yes. That's okay, Mr. Trump said. You can just say yes. That's easier. It's easier than explaining. He was also asked about Republican New York governor's candidate Elise Stefanik, who referred to Mamdani as a jihadist, and Trump said, "That's not him. I mean, the young man I met with is a very rational person," and basically, like, his supporters don't really know what to make of it. What was it, Sarah? What do you think accounts for Trump's seeming affection and need to, like, I don't know, ingratiate himself to the newly elected New York mayor?
I think he knows that Zoran has got the fucking sauce and he has X Factor and he's a celebrity and like he just effing loves like alpha rizzy celebs.
I really don't understand how anyone was that surprised by this, because since even before since the nomination, since even 2015, we have seen like people in the Trump sphere and the general like self-professed like anti-establishment, right, try to ingratiate themselves with Bernie, with other like more popular figures who, you know, either outside the Democratic Party or like perceived dissidents within the Democratic Party, and especially post Trump's first election. When they really started taking a shit in popularity, which was almost instantly the first time and took about 2 months this time, they try to do the same thing. They try to go, well, you know, me and this guy, we also hate Democrats. You can't do that as much with Bernie now that he, you know, spent 5 years acting as Biden's footstool. But the fact that so many people in Democratic leadership just pretended that there was no election in New York, that there was no guy named Zoran, it made it easier in this case. And yeah, it's just, he's extremely popular. And anyone in his position would ingratiate themselves to someone who's up and coming and popular. Like,
Trump is a New York gay guy. And like, Zoran is this little, like, he's what's popping in New York right now.
Yeah, I think it's like, to Felix's point, I think he saw the entire leadership of the Democratic Party try to sink this guy and fail. And Zoran won, so he's like, oh, I'll have some of that. And I think it's just like the classic psychology, Sarah, you're right. He likes and believes in celebrity, probably to the exclusion of everything else. But I think if it's like a certain high school mentality where like, if a kid from another clique is popular, right, and then that kid is nice to you, right, you can be nice to him even if they're from opposite cliques, right? Because it's like them being nice to you is a reflection on your popularity. Whereas with Schumer and Jeffries, he's aware that everybody hates them, so he can treat them like shit. So when you bully an unpopular kid, that is once again reaffirming your status as popular and cool.
Right. So like Trump is a jock and like Zoran is like a prep. But they're like the alpha dogs in the jock and prep school.
Exactly. But like, however, though, like that was my first reading of what accounted for this love fest and Trump, like, you know, beaming at Zoran, just looking it up and giving a big toothy grin, loving every second of it. There's a few other like I don't know, like sort of perhaps different like lenses through which to view this interaction. And I think another one that's very simple, that's easy to understand, and I think could go a long way to explaining this. I think Donald Trump just likes a handsome young man in a nice suit, you know, and Zoran's pretty tall too. Like I think he's about 6 feet tall. So like, you know, guy of, a stature, nice suit, nice smile, clean cut young man. I think Trump sees that and it sort of, because like you have to compare Zoran. Is probably the most physically handsome person that's been in that Oval Office in like since Donald Trump was there. I mean, like, think of the collection of bozos, rubes, and uggos who are normally filing in and out of that fucking the new gold Oval Office, whatever that, you know. So like, I think when he sees a handsome young man in a suit, he's just like, oh, lovely. He's a wonderful guy. I don't think he's a jihadist. I keep saying he says I'm a fascist. I guess I am.
Right. Like if Peoria, Illinois elected a Shining Path mayor, but he looked like the guy who plays Reacher, he would be invited to the White House before who's that like gross little golem they made to replace Charlie Kirk? Bryland Holland?
Braylon Hollyhand?
Bryland, and I'm not saying Bryland Holland's an uggo, okay? Not saying that. But he's not turning heads, is he? I don't even remember his name.
It's a pretty funny name, too.
He likes shiny things. Like, he has a shining 1,000-watt smile. He likes a shiny golden toilet. Like, he likes when things are shiny.
The only like kind of novel theory I've seen on this, because I do think like if I had to attribute it like mostly to one thing, it would be that they're still trying to recapture that like 2016 campaign magic of some sort of like loosely assembled broadly anti-establishment front between left and right that is just like, I cannot believe people still think that is like a fucking possibility in this country. And I especially can't believe it with after he's been elected twice, and the only thing he did the first time was like attempt to do severe austerity to some success, and this time just the most crippling austerity regime we have ever seen in our fucking lifetimes. But I did see one novel theory that was he's old. He's like just they're giving him, what's that drug that makes you super suggestible? Sodium pentothal all the time. And he's being controlled by like Peter Thiel sex slaves and assorted goy slaves. And he's just old and confused and angry. And he knows that he doesn't have the same degree of control as he did in Trump 1. So he's like lashing out at Vance and all the Thiel people by going, you know that guy who you said you're going to deport? We're going to have a handsome party in my office. And I loved Vance trying to act like, this is part of the plan to make Zoran look stupid. Someone said it was like that famous post where this girl's going, I got my pussy ate with ice cubes for the first time this weekend. And this guy replies, I know he had you screaming. But that's what Vance's reply was like.
Well, it's like, I mean, to take the Vance point of view here, like this is a sort of thinking 5 moves ahead in chess strategy to like gas him up and give him a big political win to make his downfall all the more satisfying.
That's so fun. I mean, I don't know what he didn't say that. Some people have said it was rope-a-dope, which like presumably they mean like they're gonna big up Zoran, and then like on Zoran's first day, he's gonna do so bad that it's just total anarchy. It's Escape from New York, and then they'll go, see. But I don't get that, because it's like Trump was talking about how good his policies were and how much he liked them. Like, how would that work?
And like he also said, I would have no problem living in New York City under Zoran, because he was like, we both want New York City to be great. I think it'll be very nice. And also, he went out of his way to shit all over Eric Adams, a guy who's done everything to placate, and I think like once again, it's the psychology of a dog. Like if someone shows you their belly, then you can't have any respect for him. Like Eric Adams, who was like basically had to get Trump to keep out of jail, was to kiss his ass and prostrate himself before the White House. But like he obviously has no respect for that. And then Zoran comes in and got elected, directly challenging Donald Trump, and now he's just like, oh, this guy, he's cool. I like him. This kid, he's got respect. He's got, this kid. I like this kid.
His like comment about like, no, it's okay, you can call me a fascist.
Yeah,
like reminded me of like, on Thanksgiving when my like ex-cop PI uncles are like, this like patchouli hippie kid over here. I get it. You think I'm a pig, whatever, whatever. But it's like, there's obviously like such like love, familial love there. And it's almost like Trump has this like, dude, we're from fucking New York. We're walking here. Like, there is like a love there. He has deep love for him.
I think it would be cool if like Hakeem Jeffries, who he's been like the biggest holdout from the Democratic establishment, just like no selling Zoran, especially considering that he's a New York representative. If he like started attacking, so if he started calling Zoran a social fascist, and he was see, what have I always said about social democrats?
Yeah.
Going back to the Vance thing, that made me think that this might be Trump lashing out more than anything, because I mean, like, I don't know, who knows for sure, but like, Peter Thiel he didn't want to like dump any more money into politics after Vance barely got through the primary that one time, and he ended up like just dumping money onto Trump in 2024 and linking him to other donors. And so I've always just assumed that was part of the deal, and that Trump is just he just does not get this Vance thing. But the only other thing is like I've seen people Kamala 2024 dead enders saying like, oh, you think this is cool, but you thought it sucked when fucking Kamala campaigned with Liz Cheney. And it's like, Donald Trump's the fucking president. It's like if Donald Trump was like a private citizen and Zoran like went to his house and was like, see, yeah, that would be one thing. But like, I do not understand how the two things are comparable besides both of them being right-wing politicians. I mean, one also clearly did not work, seeing as Donald Trump is president.
Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, Kamala Harris, touting an endorsement from the Cheney family to no avail, to absolutely brought her negative votes to her campaign, versus, Zoran, who's like the hot thing right now. He comes in, goes to the White House, and gets the president to fucking kiss his ass for a half an hour on national television. Seems to be like a little bit more of a dub than Kamala, palling around with the Cheney family. But
yeah.
I know, but like one more thing, you're talking about JD Vance, and I think like Donald Trump, it's like people they follow certain set psychological patterns in their life, and I think he's victimizing himself again by having another chinless idiot son with a beard who like he doesn't really like, but is always around him and always trying to like gain his approval to no avail whatsoever. Because like Donald Trump Jr. has a beard. J.D. Vance has a beard. Right. Zoran Mamdani has a beard. But the thing is, Donald Trump Jr. and J.D. Vance are constantly begging for the attention and approval of Donald Trump, which obviously he has no respect for. So I think, once again,
it goes with your theory that if you're a cutie pie, like J.D. Vance, no disrespect, looks like a human Funko Pop. So Trump's not necessarily heart eyes, He's not easy on the eyes.
No. This is also of a piece with Trump's comments about a recent meeting with President Xi of China, where he said all of Xi's advisors are terrified to speak in front of him, and that's how we should run our government, which I can't do because JD is always butting in. He's always speaking up in meetings. But there is one final sort of heuristic to view the.
Do you think there's like a Chinese hillbilly elegy?
What do
like
they call
Ping's son will write it. We really like all of us rural folk. We really should be like going to the cities to study Xi Jinping thought, but all we do is just spend all our money on barbecue.
Yeah, everyone I grew up with in the rural provinces is stuck where they are, getting fucked up on like 100-proof sorghum liquor and inventing new ways of drinking beer.
Yeah.
But no, I have one last sort of like lens through which to view the Trump Mamdani meeting, and this comes courtesy of Spencer, who I initially viewed this through like high school, right? About like popular kids. But Spencer has a very interesting theory that involves around the workplace. And his theory is basically that with, a lot of the things that are going on right now, the Epstein emails, the war in Ukraine not really going all that well, possibly a war in Venezuela, the jobs and economy really don't seem to be doing. In fact, the jobs report in the economy is so bad right now, they've just stopped issuing any new data for like Q3 of this year. Like they've simply just canceled like reporting on unemployment and economic growth. So like things
that's
things
not
are maybe
always
not
a bad sign.
It could be, yeah, that's true.
Maybe they were busy.
So like if you think about it, like the White House is a workplace and Donald Trump is the head of that workplace, but he's very depressed. And everyone who works around him is also very depressed. Then let's say a new guy comes into the workplace and doesn't really know the inter-office politics or dynamics. So that when like he's sort of cheerful and seems energetic and ready to, sort of get the work done. And then when the boss like starts talking to you about their personal life or maybe asks you to get a drink with them and you're like, sure, yeah, I'll get a drink with you this Saturday or whatever. And then they attach themselves to you and suck all of the life force out of you. And then no one else who works in the office had the ability to tell you, do not agree to do anything with this person. You'll never get rid of them. So I can see that dynamic being at play here as well.
I think there's something to that because, like, yeah, if I had to guess what the atmosphere in the White House is like, it's probably like, a financially spiraling and failing bar and grill. Like at this point,
someone John Taffer would yell at.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's
it's like the bar and grills or the owner are either an alcoholic, horny, an alcoholic horn dog, or they're like trying to pass off their failing business as like the birthright of their equally killed children.
Right. How many times can you like make an edit where like Goku is deporting someone? At a certain point, you just like have to face facts that this is Brandon V2 and that you're Brandon.
I thought the vibe was like they were all like methed out and like hyped up on stuff. But they're like, it's more goth, it's more emo, you're saying? Do you think the vibes are emo at the White House?
I mean, I think they're probably flying on all kind of cocktail of uppers and downers, but like the crash does come eventually, You've been even up for 72 hours, making crying immigrant mothers into Studio Ghibli animations with Grok, and then eventually you're going to need to. You're just going to crash. You're going to run out of Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah, Trump 1 was more of like a Dr. Feelgood administration because they had my favorite guy ever, Ronnie Jackson, was there, and he was. I mean, they probably got the idea to give Biden speedballs from Ronnie Jackson. That's probably what he was giving Trump. That's probably what Trump was on when he was like, I love everyone who is a Charlottesville. I mean, everyone.
And guys, seriously, hurt people hurt people. So have we ever thought that maybe the White House, all the guys in it are hurting?
I mean, I think they are. I mean, I think they're in a great deal of spiritual and emotional pain. And I don't want to contribute to that. I don't want to make it worse by being mean to them, because they're dealing with a lot of pressure right now, and it's just not working. It's just not working out great for them, and I wish them the best. Really, I really do.